on with her. We could not see if we were live or not. But anyways, welcome to Motivational Monday. I am your host, Jackie O. Today is Monday, of course, September the 27th, and we have a treat in store for you. Our special guest tonight is Ellen Currey-Wilson. We are going to be talking about voting, all things voting, the importance of voting, the different barriers that people experience for voting. So we hope you guys stay tuned, share this video with others so that they can get the information. And again, welcome to Motivational Monday. Motivational Monday is all about motivating and inspiring women to action. So anytime that you watch any of our shows, by the time you finish watching it, you should be called to what? To action. And before we get started, I wanted to give a shout out to our sponsor for this show. That is Maria Howell. Maria Howell, you guys know her from The Color Purple and just a string of movies and TV shows that she's been in. She has been in the entertainment industry for about 35 years. She now has her own merchandise line called Merch with a Message. And y'all, let me tell you, so I have one of the journals. I absolutely love it. 2021 Vision has a great scripture on here. Mark 8:25, it says, once more, Jesus put his hand on the man's eyes. Then his eyes were opened, his sight was restored, and he saw everything clearly. Y'all have to get it. And look, I have been, can you see it? I've been writing in here, writing all of my notes. So check it out at mariahowell.com. Maria is our business sponsor for tonight. So are y'all ready? Are y'all ready to get tuned in to our show? We are ready. So here we go. We're going to bring in our special guest, Ellen Currey-Wilson. Hey, Ellen.
Hey, Jackie. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you this evening?
Doing great.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with us on tonight. I greatly appreciate it. You are all the way in Oregon. So yeah. Has the time changed in reference to like the seasons? Is it cool, cold?
It's cool and rainy right now, but we welcome the rain. As you know, with climate change and fires, we welcome all the rain that we can get here.
Yes, absolutely. I tell you, I'm ready for fall because I don't too much care for the summertime. So I am ready for the fall. So we're going to hop right in. Guys, so I met Ellen about a year ago. It was actually during the election season. And Layla and myself, we were in the Domain. And I can't remember why we were in the Domain. We were probably taking pictures or doing something we were doing. And Ellen stopped us and she was like, have y'all voted? And I was like, oh, yes. And we got to talking and had a conversation. And that's how we made our connection. And so I definitely wanted to talk to her tonight about voting and about the process. Because a lot of times I think we don't do some things because we just don't know. So knowledge is power. We know that. It is definitely power. So again, Ellen, thank you for being here. And go ahead and introduce yourself to us and tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, I do remember you so well, meeting you and your daughter as well. And it was great to meet so many people actually like you. I was reminded of just growing up in Texas. People are friendly in Texas. Mm-hmm. And I love being in Oregon. I've been here now, I don't know how many years, raised our son here, and we're staying here, but I've still got my relatives, and part of my, as they say, heart is still in Texas. So yeah. I'm super excited because I think that it's easy to be pessimistic, but if this is all about motivating people, mm-hmm. we've got to keep going and try harder than ever to make sure Texas gets to be the state that it should be.
Yeah. I totally agree. And so Ellen, how long, and you did say you're not sure how long you've been in Oregon, but you were born and raised
1981. I graduated from SMU in Dallas.
Okay.
Came out here, ended up to see my sister, ended up falling in love with my husband, but also with the beauty of the Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
And I still love it. At the same time, I feel like we already are a blue state. We do have a higher percentage of young people voting than you do in Texas. So I feel like I keep getting drawn back to Texas because I still believe in it. And I think that it's a wonderful state.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it is. It is a wonderful state. And so now that you talked a little bit about that, we're going to hop right into this because we're talking about voting and the importance of voting. But again, I think that sometimes people really don't understand the process of voting, and they only concentrate on voting in the presidential elections. But there are other elections that are just as important, if not really more important, that we need to do. So can you break down that process for us and tell us about the different types of elections?
Yeah, I would love to. I actually was there when Beto was running for Senate. It was one of the not presidential years. It's actually so important for people to realize that your senators are elected every 6 years. And it's at a different, depending on the schedule, people need to be aware of that. And then right now, I think you have not a senator running for your election in 2022 in Texas, but you've got the congressional seats, some of those. You have a governor, a lieutenant governor. So this is so important. And then people need to realize it's not just about November, it's about the primaries in the spring. And all of this means that not only being aware ahead of time, but knowing that you're registered ahead of time to even vote in some of these elections. And Texas has a problem in that it's different from Oregon. It's 30 days. You have to be registered 30 days before any election. That takes a lot of planning on a lot of people's parts, just to even not miss that deadline. And then on top of it, in Oregon, we have the vote by mail, which it is one of the best systems. I wish everyone could have our system. It really is very efficient, gives everyone plenty of time to vote. We can either drive up, put our little ballot right into a little drive-through place if we want. We can hand deliver it and stick it in there. We can mail it, and we have plenty of time to do it. So I feel really privileged, but I also feel that it's not, even in spite of the obstacles, that if we all work twice as hard, everyone can still vote.
Yeah.
And that's what we want in Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. Because voting is so important. It is our voice, to how we can be heard. And I think people, again, it's either they're not really knowledgeable and knowing how important it is, or they just may not want to get out and vote.
Right. Right.
But, we really want them to know the importance of exercising that right that they have to vote, and not just during the presidential election.
There's measures too. I forgot to mention, amendments and measures that matter.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. And with that being said, and how I met you was that you came back to Texas because you're trying to help Texas get blue. And that is your passion. And so while you were doing that and we met you on the street, you were trying to get people to vote. Your main goal as well was to get to the young people. Yes. Because historically, we know that the young people really don't come out and vote. But this past election, the numbers showed differently. They got out and they voted. They wanted to make sure, because there was a lot of things that was riding, the environmental changes, the pandemic, just all types of stuff that was happening. And so they were really involved in that. Talk a little bit about that and why you felt it was so important to get our young people out. And what were some of the barriers that you found, as you were doing that?
Well, it's interesting because I'd gone, as I said, 2 years before, just for the senatorial election tour, but this time it was very much focused on the presidential election. And at the time, it was still the pandemic. I mean, we were all wearing masks and so on. And what I did not go and work straight with the campaign. I picked up some buttons and things like that, but I decided, wait a minute, where can I find people, the people that may not have registered yet because they have busy lives? And that's where you met me, not just the domain, but I went to every mall, indoor and outdoor. In Williamson County, in fact, turned blue for the first time, in part, and I really feel that this is because, in part, I went and just spoke with so many young people who have such busy lives, and yet they're very extroverted, because why would you work in a mall and work at all these stores if you didn't like people to start with? So, and I think they cared a lot about things. It was just that so many reasons. A, they didn't even realize the deadline was upon them, that they had that 30-day thing. Oh, I thought I could register, anytime. So that was one problem. B, they move a lot, as you know. So that was huge because they were so worried. Even my own niece was moving from Austin to Dallas, but she had moved from Dallas to Austin and needed to go all the way back there to vote. And then she wondered if she could take time off from work and so on. These are all the obstacles that young people have. On top of it, she's taking care of a mother who has diabetes and so on. So it's not always an easy thing. One of the things that I'm as bad as some of the new voting rights laws that are really not voting rights, they're taking away people's rights right now in Texas, there's still going to be the early voting, which is a great thing. So what I found in Texas, the first deadline I had, and I went to, oh my gosh, libraries. In the end, it was a library in Round Rock, Texas, had a lot of those forms that I was I helped people register in time. And I just chatted with people. I didn't have any buttons on or anything, just found young people and helped them know that, okay, here's the form, because you really couldn't register online. That's what young people love to do. You can't register online. You can do it, but you still have to print out a form and mail it. Young people don't even use envelopes and stamps very often, as you know. So that's another thing. They're not even equipped for this antiquated system in some ways, doing it that way. So it was a lot of it was just helping them out and doing that. And then telling them about the early voting. I came in after everyone had registered. It was too late to register anymore. I brought lists of all these early voting locations. So far, no matter what Texas is doing, that, as far as I can tell, is still going to happen in 2022. So with the early voting, as much as it's making it hard, in Harris County, they were getting rid of the drive-through and all these things they're trying to push, this voter suppression stuff. It just means we have to work harder and let people know about the opportunities that are there. And there are a lot of them that young people will be able to utilize. So I do feel confident. And by the way, I did look up the percentage, the difference in how well you all did. Texas, their younger turnout, I think it went from something like up 13%. So between 2016, I think, and the 2020. So it was a much bigger turnout for young people.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was really great too for me, because me and my daughter, this was her first time voting. And, of course, she's young. She just turned 20. Right. So to be able to experience that with her as a young person, to know, listen, you need to get out here, like you were saying, and vote. So that was amazing. And that's good. Like 13%, that's good.
I think it's great. I think it's amazing. And, we already know that if only young people voted, we would have a very different result every time. Because
absolutely.
Yeah, they really are. It's that whole thing. They're the future. So I think, and I love meeting your daughter as well. It's just the sweetest to get them involved. And I registered a lot of people who were just about to turn, just turned 18. So that's everything we forget. That right now there are people who, even for the spring primary election, will be just turning 18. That's a whole bunch of voters.
A whole bunch.
To register who need help.
Yeah, that is so true. And, even with the young people, I think you had mentioned when I met you too, that how you were trying to get to the people also that couldn't even get out. Like you were at the malls, but then there were some people that were at home. They didn't have printers. And what was that process like?
Yeah, there were so many. That was a very ridiculous thing because, you don't always have a printer and you're supposed to then print it out. And even the idea, all these things cause little delays. That's kind of what it is. Or, the ID, shoot, my driver's license expired. Does that mean this won't count as an ID? And these are all things that, people of all ages deal with, but young people in particular, or if they don't drive at all, then now it's like, okay, where's that Social Security car? Will I have to show it? And so really everyone just needs to kind of have someone hold their hand through all of this, because otherwise it's that easy to think, well, is it really that important? And I think people are waking up. The good news is people are waking up and realizing it's important. Don't you feel that too? I mean, I'm sure your daughter with her friends, people are realizing this is important.
Yes. And that's the key, to realize that it is important. It's not something that we can just blow over, sweep under the rug, but it is important for us to get out and to do that. I totally agree. So with that being said, so are you going to be returning to Texas next year?
Yeah, I'm coming actually next month to see my niece anyway.
Okay.
And every time I have a nephew too there I'm going to get to see. He lives in Houston. So of course I'll touch base. And now this is great. You've energized me, because now I realize I need to make sure they're all registered. And by the way, there is an election that seemed very unimportant. That's just about a few kind of amendment type things that's even happening sooner. I don't even know exactly what it's about. That's really in November for Texas. There's only a few amendments on it. But the point is, I'm going to double check to see if not just my nephew, but all his friends in college now are registered, because this is the time to do it. It should be so much easier, especially the thing that's going to make this so hard, as you know, the whole redistricting thing that the Republicans are controlling. It's really important now that, again, that we just have, the only way to fight this is, to me, is just to have an even bigger turnout from the people that like the young people. So yes, I'm coming back. In answer to your question, I'm coming back next month, and then I'm going to come back again probably in the spring.
In the spring?
Spring even, because now I'm realizing you're helping me realize, because you just said, what about these other elections? The primary is one of them.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we need to get out and do our job.
Yeah. I'll be back.
Absolutely. So Ellen, what else would you like us to know just about the voting and just how important it is, not just for young people, but really for all people? It is important for all people to get out, and it doesn't matter who you're voting for, and that was another thing. Like this past election, it was so crazy. Just like madness. And you may not have liked every single thing that, the candidates, what they presented, right? But at the end of the day, you still have to vote. And there were so many people that did not get out and vote because they were like, well, we don't like either one of the candidates, so we're not going to vote. But I mean, I'm not going to say you shouldn't, because you should, right? I mean, what is your take on that? Because
I actually think it's really important that right now, I mean, obviously I'm not a Republican, but at the same time, I actually admire the Republicans that were saying, don't say an election was stolen, that still believe in democracy. I think it's fascinating when they talked about what happened in January. I guess some information has come out that Pence went for advice from Dan Quayle, because Trump was pressuring Pence to give him the election, even though he lost. I like when Republicans like Dan Quayle in this case said, no, he lost. We can't it's really up to a lot of Republicans to have the integrity to say, not to be poor losers, actually, or to tell people that how can you believe your vote matters if you're saying every single time that we're going to, no matter what the outcome, we're going to say it's not valid? So I actually think it's really important for Republicans with integrity to not only to vote, but also to encourage their fellow Republicans to not go off the rails like this. I mean, that's how you lose democracy.
Right.
And so, I mean, I think that's really frightening. Because, we need, if we don't believe in it and make it hard to vote on top of everything else, then we don't have our democracy. My mother, I think I mentioned in my profile, she was a professor of political science, and she would take her students to both the Republican and the Democratic convention, and it was not as polarized. She was a strong Democrat, but they all listened and had drinks afterwards and debated and were friends too. So I think we've lost so much now. It's been very sad.
Yeah. Wow.
That's worrisome.
Yeah. So, what are some last comments that you would like to leave with us, with our viewing audience, as
Well,
we're wrapping this up?
I would like to say about the Electoral College that we have now, if we didn't have the Electoral College, we have won the popular vote in all presidential elections, except maybe one since 1984 or something. So we need to know the popular vote is here. So all these obstructionist things that are happening in Texas is because they're actually scared that they are losing their power. So what I say to all of you who live in Texas, don't leave the state. Stay there, because I feel like some people are going to be scared off. Don't, especially all of you women, the young people, because don't be intimidated. This is so important. And what you're doing, Jacquie, is so important. What your daughter's doing. I will come down and help, but obviously I live in Oregon and I can't vote there.
Right.
So I really want to encourage everyone to stay in it, to realize that really the majority of the people are sane and care about a lot of these issues that we all care about. I'm really big on the climate thing right now, and transitioning to electric vehicles and some of the things that Biden is trying to get passed for all of us. They're really not partisan issues. It's the air we all breathe. So we have the people we're in it together. This is just something that it's the final fight. And hopefully integrity will return.
Hopefully. We're going to be very hopeful and prayerful.
Of course.
Anything can change. Yes, anything can change with prayer. But one thing that I really like that you said just a few minutes ago was about fear and intimidation. Because really, that's what is happening. They're just like putting the fear out there, trying to intimidate you. And so I liked how you said, don't be fearful. Don't be intimidated. Stand your ground. Do what you're supposed to do. Because if only one person, it only takes one person to make a change, right? I mean, that's what we hear. So if you have like all of these one persons all put together, and working together, then we can definitely make a change. But it all comes down to us working together, doing it together, not being fearful or intimidated by what's being said, what's being shown on the media, because too, we have to kind of filter through that as well, of what we're seeing. So I totally agree with that, Ellen. Well, I so appreciate you being on with us tonight. And do you have any books or any upcoming events, anything you want to share with us?
I do have, my book is still for sale on Kindle. It's really, I wrote it as a parent and a teacher about helping kids cut back on screen time, which of course has been very hard, but I'm very concerned right now because it's so hard for parents to get childcare and so on. So I think it's a good read if anyone still wants to read it. It's called The Big Turnoff: Confessions of a TV Addicted Mom Trying to Raise a TV Free Kid. Wrote it years ago. But most of my passion right now really is toward writing articles and so on about helping people get rid of the internal combustion engine. Texas has solar. We have wind energy there. So I think, again, that's something that we can do because we really need to make sure it's green and beautiful everywhere.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my own thing now.
I agree. Yes, let's help save our planet. I know we do everything that we can on our end, not only just personally, but even with our skincare line, so that's our thing. Like, it is healthy, it's good for your skin and the environment, because we are totally wanting to save the place where we live.
Yes, your skin is glowing. You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Hey, that's the glow. That's the glow, guys. So
I need the glow.
If y'all have not purchased Glow by Jacquie O, you need to go to JacquieO.com.
I need the glow. I'm going to do
it. You need the glow.
Okay, I will get
that plug in there.
I will get the glow. Next time you see me, we can do a before and after, and I'm going to glow.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. There you have it. Well, Ellen, thank you so much again for being with us. And guys, I definitely wanted to thank our show sponsor again, Maria Howell, for being the sponsor for tonight's show. And so I'm going to tell you guys what a business sponsor actually, what happens and how they help us out in our shows. When you sponsor one of our shows, not only do you get a shout out and we talk about your business and who you are, you are also also helping us to do Motivational Mondays every Monday that you see us on. We give our special guest just a small token of our appreciation for being on the show. And then we have other things that we do. So when we say that we have a business sponsor, that is what is happening. This person has sponsored a show by paying, what our fee is for that. And we give them a shout out, and we're all winning, and we're helping each other and building up each other. So again, thank you to Maria Howell for being our sponsor on tonight. And I have my journal. Y'all go to mariahowell.com and check her out. All of her stuff is merged with a message. So they all have scriptures or some type of inspirational quote on them, and it will be a blessing. And yes, it says 2021, but guess what? We're still in 2021. So y'all still can get it. Do your vision, write it down. Remember, write the vision, make it plain. So thank you, Maria, for sponsoring our show on tonight. And thank you again to you, Ellen, for being on our show. And so y'all, next week, tune in. Next week, we will have a very special guest. She's going to be talking to us about her journey with COVID-19 and the recovery process and some of the after effects that she is experiencing from her having the COVID-19 virus. So please tune in. We pray that you all have a great rest of your week, and we will see you on next Monday, October the 4th. Good night.